The saddest thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very just not announced it. Said he is officially retired, and Tom Aspinall is the UFC heavyweight champion. I didn't think that it was going to happen this fast. That by not stepping in that octagon, he didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. It's so surprising. Tom Aspinall was waiting. UFC was waiting. Everybody's waiting. Jon Jones just walked away. But what happened today opens a conversation for us to question whether or not he ran away. I will go to my grave believing he quit instead of fighting that guy.
UFC star Jon Jones, who recently announced his unexpected retirement, is once again facing legal trouble. According to a criminal complaint filed in Bernalillo County Metropolitan Court, Jones has been accused of leaving the scene of an accident in February, a charge considered a misdemeanor. He is scheduled to appear for a bond arraignment hearing on July 24th, according to a police report. An intoxicated and partially unclothed woman claimed that Jones was the driver who fled the scene on foot. Police later spoke with a man believed to be Jones, who sounded drunk and made vague threats. The woman told authorities she had been drinking and taken mushrooms at Jones's house, and she remembered nothing after leaving until she woke up at the crash site. Jones reportedly called her 13 times following the incident. Although the crash occurred in February, charges were filed months later, and there is no confirmed link between this case and Jones's recent retirement.
Stated that an Albuquerque police officer was investigating a traffic crash near San Mateo and Lomas when she came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lacking clothing from the waist down. I got this from the Albuquerque Journal, which was sent to me. The woman reportedly said Jones was the driver but fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones, the complaint stated, and a police service aide spoke to the man on the other end of the call, believed to be Jones. He appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force to third parties. To the police, the PSA. Court record stated PSA requested backup after what was believed to be a threat when a police officer then talked to Jones and said similar allusions to violence were made.
Daniel Cormier further explained the details of the scene and spoke about how the investigation has progressed so far.
Direct questions about whether he was Jones. The complaint stated, when interviewed in person a few days after the crash, Jones said the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day intoxicated and called him after getting in a crash, at which time Jones said the person she handed the phone to immediately opened the conversation with unprofessional language, which led to him doubting the legitimacy of the individual's claim. The woman later told police she drank alcohol and consumed mushroom at Jones's house and recalled needing to change her clothes at his house, and her next recollection was being at the scene of the crime, the traffic accident. She said the last person she remembered driving her car was Jones. The court record indicated. Police said Jones called the woman's phone 13 times from the time of the crash until 11:34 a.m. the following morning, and that text messages from his phone were included, though they could not be captured in call detail record.
Daniel Cormier further shared his honest thoughts on the issue surrounding Jon Jones. He said, the saddest part is that none of this was surprising. Given Jones's history of risky and reckless decisions, Cormier expressed hope that if Jones is truly done with fighting, he finds something meaningful to fill the void, like spending more time with his longtime girlfriend and children. He warned that even with all the money in the world, life can feel empty without a sense of purpose, and he believes Jones's true purpose lies with his family.
The thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very, it's just not smart. I hope that as he goes into this next phase of his career, if it's over forever, he fills the void with something positive. He's got some beautiful children. He's got a long-time girlfriend. He needs to fill that time with those people if he's going to be able to come out of the other side of his career with something else. Because even if you have a lot of money, you can have money and still not have purpose. His purpose is in those beautiful kids of his. His purpose is in that beautiful woman of his. That's his purpose.
Jon Jones has officially retired from the UFC, and the MMA world has been reacting to the shocking news. Dana White confirmed that Jones called the UFC to announce his retirement, and with that, White declared Tom Aspinall as the new UFC heavyweight champion moving forward.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
However, Dana White expressed confusion over Jon Jones's sudden retirement, especially since the fight had already been finalized. According to White, the UFC had agreed to fair terms and offered Jones a deal he deserved. Despite everything being in place, Jones still chose to walk away, leaving White puzzled about the reasoning behind his decision.
The timeline of Jon accepted the fight, went to Thailand, came back, didn't want the fight. What happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. We were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Is it accurate? There's a lot of reports about figures he was offered. Is it fair to say he was offered a lot of money to take this fight?
Yeah. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Yeah.
Tom Aspinall also reacted after officially being named the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion. He thanked everyone for their support, especially throughout the past 10 to 11 months of inactivity, which he said weren't his fault but were still challenging. Aspinall stated that he's now focused on moving forward and plans to stay as active as possible. His goal is to become the greatest heavyweight of all time, and he's determined to defend the title as many times
The news has broken. I'm sure everybody's seen it. UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Moving forward, very, very important to me just to acknowledge everybody quickly who has supported me in this. I'm not going to say it was a tough time, but a bit of a challenging time over like the last kind of 10, 11 months that I have been inactive due to no fault of my own. But luckily, it's all behind us now. Massively appreciate the support from everybody. Massively appreciate the support going forward. I am going to keep this thing as active as possible. I want to be the best heavyweight ever to walk the face of the earth. I'm going to defend this thing.
Tom Aspinall promised to give back to all the fans who have supported him throughout his career, from the past year to the last 10 years. He expressed deep gratitude for their love and encouragement and assured everyone that they will now see an active and defending UFC undisputed heavyweight champion. Aspinall pledged to keep the fans entertained and said he's excited for all that lies ahead.
I'm going to really give back to everybody who has shown me support over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years. Really appreciate the support and love from everybody. And we're going to see an active, defending UFC heavyweight undisputed champion going forward. Thank you, guys.
Dana White also expressed his excitement for the beginning of the Tom Aspinall era, especially with International Fight Week about to kick off. He shared that he'll be meeting with Aspinall in Las Vegas to discuss what's next, praising him for being professional and easy to work with throughout the entire process. According to White, Aspinall has been clear that he's ready to fight anyone the UFC puts in front of him. White added that he's genuinely looking forward to this new chapter with Aspinall as the undisputed heavyweight champion.
I'll be back in Vegas tonight, and Tom will be there all next week, so we'll sit down with him, see what he's thinking, what he wants to do. He's been great through this whole thing, and literally said, I'll fight whoever you guys tell me to fight. I'm ready to go. So, looking forward to the Tom Aspinall
However,
era.
Dana White still doesn't believe Jon Jones was trying to duck Tom Aspinall despite his retirement. He stated that Jones has never avoided anyone in his career, except for one odd moment with Chael Sonnen, while the UFC had the fight finalized. White admitted he isn't sure why Jones changed his mind, but suggested that age could be a factor. He added that when a fighter starts talking about retirement, it's often
I'll just come out and ask you. Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody. And, I think the reality is, whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know, you'd have to ask him that, but, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them, and it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup, doesn't fancy the age difference?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Only he does. We had the fight done. Listen, our job is to make the biggest fights we can make and the fights that the fans want to see, and that's what we try to do. But the minute somebody starts talking about retirement, my philosophy on that, you should do it.
Meanwhile, Khabib Nurmagomedov shared a respectful message for Jon Jones following his retirement from MMA, despite not being close personally. Khabib acknowledged Jones as the greatest fighter in UFC history. He praised Jon for inspiring millions around the world and said that, with everything he has accomplished, there is nothing left for him to prove in the sport. Nurmagomedov stated, "My congratulations, legend. Even though we were not friends, you are the best to ever do it in UFC history. And you have inspired millions of people around the world. You have nothing more to prove in this sport." On the other hand, Daniel Cormier didn't hold back in his reaction to Jon Jones's retirement. Speaking shortly after Dana White confirmed the news, Cormier doubled down on a prediction he had made weeks earlier that if Jones didn't face Tom Aspinall, it would mean he was walking away. Cormier called the moment unbelievable and stated simply, "Jon Jones quit." He emphasized that this came as no surprise to him and felt it confirmed everything he had suspected about Jones avoiding the fight.
Normally we wait till the morning to release these videos, but tonight we gotta stay up late with the boy because Jon Jones quit. I said it a couple weeks ago that if he didn't fight this guy, Jon Jones quit. And tonight Dana White announced that he did. Unbelievable.
However, when speaking about Jon Jones's overall career, Daniel Cormier showed deep respect for his former rival. Reflecting on their battles, Cormier said that during their fight in Anaheim, he was performing at the highest level of his entire career. Even though he had won major titles in both the UFC and Strikeforce, nothing compared to how sharp he felt that night. Yet, despite being at his best, Jon Jones still defeated him. That moment left a lasting impression on Cormier, and he admitted it's one of the reasons he will always admire Jones's abilities. In Cormier's view, Jon Jones was truly one of a kind inside the octagon.
Without question. I beat Stipe Miocic. I became the Strikeforce heavyweight champion, UFC light heavyweight champion. I was never better than that time in Anaheim. That was the best I've ever been, and he beat me. And because of that, I will always respect him for his skills and what he did inside the octagon. In that 8-sided fence.
Moreover, after confirming that Tom Aspinall is officially the UFC heavyweight champion, Dana White stated that the next step is to determine his next opponent, with International Fight Week kicking off on Monday in Las Vegas. White said Aspinall will be in town all week, and they plan to sit down together to discuss what's next. White emphasized that they'll evaluate who the true #1 contender is and make their decision from there.
Officially champ. Who is the #1 contender right now?
So International Fight Week starts Monday in Las Vegas, and Tom will be in Vegas all week with us, so we'll get together with him and figure
Dana
out
White
what's
shared
next.
his thoughts on Tom Aspinall's future following Jon Jones's retirement, expressing both sympathy and optimism. He admitted he felt bad that Aspinall lost valuable time and money waiting for a fight. That never happened, but promised the UFC will make it up to him. White praised Aspinall for being professional and cooperative throughout the process, always ready to fight anyone, anytime. He called Tom a great guy and said he believes Aspinall will be an excellent heavyweight champion moving forward, adding that he's excited to
What
work
he's
with him.
accomplished in the sport, no. It is what it is. I obviously feel bad for Tom that he lost all that time and obviously money, but we'll make it up to him. Tom Aspinall's a good guy. He's been incredible through this whole process that we've gone through. He's been willing to do anything, fight him anywhere at any time, and do this. And now he's like, I'll fight anybody. You tell me who, and I'll fight him. So Aspinall's been great. He's going to be a great heavyweight champion for us, and I'm excited to work with him. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Daniel Cormier further expressed his confusion about Jon Jones's sudden retirement announcement. He admitted he wasn't sure if it was a UFC strategy, a decision made out of frustration by Jones, or something else entirely. While uncertain about the full picture, Cormier said that if Jones truly cares about his legacy, this might be the right time to step away rather than risk avoiding a fight with someone like Tom Aspinall or accepting opponents who don't measure up. He noted that the UFC gave Jones everything he wanted financially, yet he still refused to fight. The news left Cormier stunned, saying his head was spinning after Dana White's unexpected announcement.
This is tactics by the UFC. I don't know that this is frustrations with Jon Jones. I don't know what this is. Does it feel like the end completely? I hope it does. Because if he cares about his legacy, he doesn't want to be sitting there beating up on guys that may get past Tom Aspinall. They gave him the money. They agreed to everything. And he still just would not do it. I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Like this, head spinning. It was crazy when Dana said that.
Daniel Cormier believes that Jon Jones might not be done for good and could return, but only under specific circumstances. He compared Jones to champions like Muhammad Ali, Georges St. Pierre, and others who left the ladder down by giving the next generation a chance. Cormier pointed out that Jon, like Floyd Mayweather, seems more interested in protecting his legacy and choosing fights on his own terms. In his view, Jones doesn't want to risk facing Tom Aspinall. Cormier even speculated that if Tom were to lose his next fight, Jon might suddenly be willing to come back, which, to Cormier, says a lot about what's really motivating Jones's retirement.
George St. Pierre, to Chuck Liddell, to myself, they've all left the ladder down. Very few people don't. Very few people leave without opening the door for that next guy to get a chance. Khabib did it. Floyd Mayweather never really gave that opportunity. Floyd said, I'm going to protect what I got, make a lot of money and take the fights when I want them, where I want them. That's what Jon's doing. Doesn't want to fight Tom. And I honestly feel like if Tom loses, he would come back. And that's crazy to me.
Similarly, Julian Marquez expressed doubt about Jon Jones's retirement, questioning the lack of a big tribute or major moment to mark the occasion. He pointed out that all fans got was a quick offhand comment from Dana White after a fight, an announcement that felt too low-key for a fighter of Jones's magnitude. To Marquez, this suggests Jon may not be done and could return. He said, Jon Jones retired, and there wasn't anything massive put together for his announcement. Just a 3-second clip of Dana mentioning it after a fight. It seems like he'll be back to me. Meanwhile, Renato Moicano claimed that Tom Aspinall will now fight Alex Pereira for the heavyweight title and insisted that nothing can change his mind about it. Dylan Dennis mocked Jones on his retirement, using harsh words for the former champion. Josh Thompson expressed satisfaction that Jon Jones didn't break Cain Velasquez's record for the longest heavyweight title reign, a record that lasted 896 days, with Jones retiring after holding the belt for roughly 840 days. Thompson stated, "Glad Jon Jones didn't break Cain Velasquez's heavyweight title length as champion by not fighting. Glad MMA can move on from this chapter. It's Aspinall time." Meanwhile, Jake Paul congratulated Jon Jones, calling him the greatest fighter of all time, and stated, "Congrats, Jon Jones, you are the GOAT." Jon Jones's retirement has sent shockwaves through the MMA world, leaving many questions surrounding his latest court issue and sudden exit from the spotlight, as the focus now shifts to Tom Aspinall and the future of the heavyweight division. Be sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon for instant notifications about all the latest updates from heavy hitters.